What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about why Swiss trains are the best trains. So, like many Americans, I can't even remember the last time that I was on a train. So, you could honestly say that the idea of trains is a pretty foreign concept for most of us, and that is why today I want to take a look at this video by Not Just Bikes and learn about some of the best trains in all of Europe, which apparently are in Switzerland. So let's take a look.
I live in the Netherlands, where we have some pretty good trains. There's a dense network that connects nearly all major towns and cities. The busiest train station, Utrecht Centraal, has over 1,000 train departures per day. And there are also
What?
high speed trains to neighboring countries. For example, I can go to Paris in less than 3.5 hours.
What? That is so cool, but at the same time, I can't help but think, like, this kind of thing just doesn't exist here in the United States. Not like this, I mean. Don't get me wrong. We have some trains, especially mostly around our major cities. There's some trains and stuff, but nothing like this. Like the idea that you can take a train to travel to a neighboring country too is like it's so cool. It's all so cool. Like this is an amazing thing that most Americans will just never experience this, and I don't know. I guess I'm a bit jealous.
But as good as we have it here in the Netherlands, there's another country in Europe that does trains better. Much better, in fact.
Okay. And that is Switzerland? So it sounds like a lot of different countries around Europe. Like it sounds like you guys just have a really big train infrastructure. And this is just a normal, common thing that you guys use. Here in the US, it's like I said, we don't really use public transport that much, especially outside of cities. Like I don't remember the last time I took a bus or a train or walked somewhere. Jeez.
Welcome to the Confederatio Helvetica, or as I like to call it, Switzerland.
Okay.
Famous for mountains, holy cheese, chocolate, bendy knives, and time bracelets, and of course, trains. Lots and lots of trains.
Is Switzerland known for trains? To be honest, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. In Europe, is Switzerland like known for this? Because I thought like lots of countries had this. I thought it was just kind of us that was weird and don't really. And it's weird because the United States is a really big place. We could really benefit from trains. Like I don't know, doesn't matter. Anyway, I didn't know Switzerland was like known for this.
Now, I've been to Switzerland many times, and I've taken the train every time I've come because, of course, I did. It's the most efficient way to get around. But
Wow.
recently, I stayed a full week in Switzerland and took multiple trains per day to find out what makes these trains the best trains in Europe.
Look at this train station. This is amazing. Like, I know this is probably like very normal for a lot of Europeans, but this is all the trains and the people and the big gigantic station. This is like sort of stuff that a lot of us only see in movies, not in real life.
One of the things that really sets the train system apart in Switzerland is just how extensive it is. Look at this map. There are train stations everywhere. There are towns, tiny towns, that have consistent, reliable train service every 30 minutes.
First of all, freaking look at Switzerland, by the way. Like the landscape. This is beautiful. Anyway, yeah, that map. You could literally catch a train almost anywhere. Like, this would be great if even this amount of train rail infrastructure was in the US. But this is just Switzerland, which is much, much smaller, and yet has vastly more options than the US. And so, from what they're saying, even amongst European countries, Switzerland has like a impressively dense train infrastructure. Okay.
Tiny towns that have consistent, reliable train service every 30 minutes.
That's
In many other
amazing.
countries, they wouldn't even provide bus service to a place this small.
That's
Some of the
amazing.
smallest towns have request stop service, where you need to press this button to have the train stop. But there's still train service. And
That is unbelievable. Like, here in the US, most of us have to drive our car. The United States is like built for the idea that you're going to drive your car like 99.99% of the time. Uh, so it's hard for me to like wrap my head around how this is a real option that many people actually use every day, like in Switzerland, for example.
this train station that services only a single cafe, a ski lift, and a hiking trail has service every 30 minutes.
What?
Meanwhile, the city of Calgary in Canada, a city of 1.3 million people, has no intercity train service at all.
Oh. Canada. I thought Canada would even be doing a little better than the US with this stuff, but
Zurich also has about 1.3 million people, but almost 3,000 trains per day, with train times so frequent you don't even need to look at a schedule. So if you're taking the train here, you won't have to wait very long.
this is so cool. So the biggest thing distinguishing factor for Switzerland so far is like how many trains there are, how often you can catch a train. So even for Europe, this is exceptional, I guess.
Frequencies like this are the gold standard of public transportation, but this is really only feasible in more populated areas. So how do they provide such good train service to smaller towns and villages?
Yeah.
Well, Switzerland is a relatively small country by land area, and some people may assume that's why the public transit can be so good, but these Wikipedia level statistics can be very misleading. Because by population, Swiss cities actually aren't that big. After
Oh.
Zurich, the next largest city, Geneva, has only about 600,000 people in the whole region. In fact,
Okay.
almost 50% of the entire population of Switzerland lives in small villages of less than 10,000 people.
So a lot of people in Switzerland live in cities, I guess, or no matter how you cut it, obviously, if you're in a country that's also, I think, pretty wealthy. I think Switzerland is very wealthy, which never hurts. If you're in a country that has a not a huge population, that's gonna like make it a lot easier to build out this kind of infrastructure, and I think that would make it a lot easier.
In a way, Switzerland is a sprawling country, but instead of car dependent suburban sprawl like you'd see in North America, it's village sprawl. Yet the country
Wow.
still manages to cover this highly dispersed population.
Switzerland is beautiful. What the heck? People actually live here? In some random town in Switzerland, next to a mountain. This is insane. Anyway,
With exceptional public transport.
and you can live in your little Swiss village, and there's going to be a train coming if you want to go into the big city or whatever. That you don't need a car. This is amazing.
Switzerland uses what is called clock face scheduling. For example, a transit vehicle that comes every 30 minutes will always come at 15 minutes and 45 minutes after the hour, or 5 minutes and 35 minutes, or maybe it's 4 times per hour at 5, 20, 35, and 50 minutes past the hour, but regardless, it's consistent. And
Okay.
it goes all day, so that regular users won't have to think too much about the schedule.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, I don't know a lot about this stuff, but if I had to think about it, that'd probably be the way to do it.
This is actually pretty normal, and many countries schedule their public transit this way, including the Netherlands and Germany.
Okay.
But Switzerland takes this a step further by synchronizing their timetables across the entire country, a method called pulse timetabling or integrated timetables.
Oh.
Here's how it works. Train departure times at a train station are staggered so that trains may be arriving every 30 minutes at, say, 15 minutes past the hour and departing in a different direction at, say, 25 minutes past the hour.
Okay.
This way, most people arriving at the station will have at most 10 minutes to wait for their connecting train.
That is.
But Switzerland integrates these timetables throughout the entire network, across the entire country, to minimize connection durations as much as possible.
That is. Oh my God. Because for a lot of Americans, well, one of the biggest, I don't know, gripes that we have about public transport, for one thing, we're so used to our cars. We're so used to that autonomy that, oh, it's on my schedule. I can just get in my car and go wherever I have to go anytime. I'm literally the driver. And a lot of Americans really treasure that. Whereas, so it'd be difficult for a lot of us to give up that level of control, if that makes sense, where it's like, oh, I gotta wait for the train but now I understand it's actually not that big a deal, especially if you design it this intelligently, where you're only waiting 10 minutes. That would make it, if Americans understood that's how it could be done, we'd probably be a lot more open-minded to this.
Switzerland is an incredibly mountainous country, and that means that building rail lines is extremely expensive.
Sure.
So there aren't a lot of individual rail lines, and a small number of routes need to be shared by a large number of rail services.
Okay.
This tight scheduling is the only way a route like this could operate with only a single track through the mountains.
Oh my God.
For example,
I can't even believe that they're able to build train tracks over this geography. This looks insane. That's it. I can see why it would be expensive, but it's also just how the engineering, feat behind the whole thing is impressive.
traveling through the south of Switzerland, our train occasionally needed to wait briefly for another train to clear the tunnel, which was only a single track. But wait times were short, and we always arrived on time.
Oh, so on one track, there's multiple trains and they can go different directions? Or at least through tunnels and stuff. So they don't have to build multiple tunnels. And I've never thought about any of this. It makes sense. Although I'd be a little nervous if we tried to do this in the US. I'd be nervous if we could get this right and not have your train smash into another train.
Of course, in order to pull this off, the trains need to arrive when they're supposed to arrive, and Swiss trains are famously punctual.
Oh.
The official statistic is that 91.9% of all trains arrive on time, but it's even better than it sounds.
What?
First of all, on time is defined as within 3 minutes of the scheduled arrival time.
What? What? That's unbelievable. I don't know trains, but just thinking about airplanes, at the airport, they are never on time. Airplanes are a bit different than trains, admittedly, but stuff like that is never on time. By hours sometimes. So the idea that these trains are within 3 minutes of the scheduled arrival time, 90% of the time? Even I can understand. That's unbelievable.
This is a much stricter definition than you'll find in many other countries. Here in the Netherlands, for example, the national carrier, Nederlandse Spoorwegen, considers a train to be on time if it's within 5 minutes of the scheduled arrival time.
That's still good.
And where I used to live in the Greater Toronto area, Go Transit uses a 15-minute metric for on-time performance.
At 15 minutes late, that's where it starts to be I'd be annoyed.
A region that is a tiny fraction the size of Switzerland, but with a similar population. And if you think that's bad, Via Rail in Canada says that 71% of their trains are on time, but they don't publish what metric they use.
Oh.
But anyway, what's
Oh,
really
jeez.
impressive about the Swiss train network is the connection punctuality. 98.9% of trains in Switzerland allow their passengers to make their connection, which is amazing.
So that's when you can arrive at the station, get off your train, and get on and like immediately get onto your other train. Like you don't have to wait another cycle or whatever. Right? I think that's what that means, which is, oh my god, if this was the train system in the US, I actually think a lot of people would do it. A lot of people would be like, this is what it would take because Americans were so addicted to our cars. But this is the most impressive thing about like again, I don't know much about trains, but this is impressive.
After all, arriving at home 5 minutes late one day isn't really a big deal, but just missing your connection to a train that only leaves every 30 minutes is much worse. But
Yes.
enough statistics and graphs. What is it actually like to take the train in Switzerland? Well,
Okay.
first of all, the trains are really nice. Every train I took was modern, clean, and comfortable.
That's what I notice here. It is very clean. Um, I've seen video or pictures of like a subway train in New York City. It's not like this. This is really nice. Switzerland, your trains are really nice, and your train methodology.
In the mountain regions, there are even trains with windows like this to enjoy the view.
Oh my
And you
god.
definitely want to get a good view when the landscape looks like this.
Are you kidding me?
There are also tourist trains like the Glacier Express that are even better, but more about that later. But even the regular intercity trains are great. I want you to look at this scene for a moment. How
What?
freaking civilized is this?
What on earth? Is this normal? Today I'm learning that like there's a difference between normal in like maybe average train experience in whatever European country that has trains and the Swiss train experience. I mean, the video here is about how Swiss trains are like the best in Europe, and it's not just about the punctuality and the timetables and the infrastructure, and it's also about the train itself where it's clean, it's nice. You get to sit down and have a 3-star dinner, literally, with fancy tablecloths. What? This is not what I picture when I like picture a train. Like I picture like just seats, not necessarily having a great time, but getting where you need to go, or honestly, like more dingy or old fashioned. This is like kind of rewriting for me what a train experience is like.
Can you seriously tell me you'd rather sit in traffic on a highway confined to your seat with a belt, constantly needing to pay attention, with no way to comfortably eat or even take a piss instead of this?
It's a good point.
I refuse to believe that there's any better way to travel than on a train like this one.
It's a really good point. I I think a lot of Americans would be convinced, like by the stuff earlier, and certainly by this.
There's a famous quote by the former mayor of Bogota: "A developed country is not a place where the poor have cars, it's where the rich use public transportation." And that is absolutely the case in Switzerland.
Oh,
When I was traveling first class, I routinely saw well dressed people and professionals like this who opened their laptop to debrief after a business meeting.
no kidding. Because I did, I'll be honest. I've kind of thought trains are like an economy option, like a cheap option if you don't have a car, if you can't afford a car. Like public transportation in the United States has a reputation of being like for poor people, for lack of a better way to say it. It's like because if you don't have a car in the US and you're taking like if you're by a city and you take the subway, or if you like have to take the bus, which is very rare for a lot of people, people look down on you a bit here. Seriously. So, this is actually really cool to hear about that the trains are so normalized, so nice in Switzerland that whether you're rich or poor or whatever walk of life you come from, like everybody uses them all the same. That's really cool. I don't know if that's what it would be like if this existed in the US.
I believe that having wealthy people take public transportation is important because, for better or for worse, these people are likely to have the power and political influence to demand efficient service.
Sure, sure, yeah,
But
yeah,
there's
yeah.
something to be said about a country that is so well set up with high quality, punctual, and efficient public transportation that makes
Yeah,
traveling so easy.
yeah.
This carefree transportation felt like true freedom, more so than any car dependent place I've ever been.
Oh, wow. That's pretty profound. Talk about a point of view that like most Americans never get. I'm very glad that I took a look at this because this was eye-opening, fascinating. It actually kind of convinced me that having a train-centric like public transportation system could actually work and actually be a good idea and maybe even be better than everybody having their own car in many ways, which is that is a very difficult argument to convince most Americans, myself included. I like having a car and I like the independence that I feel comes with it. Obviously, there are drawbacks, and this video was more about like the benefits of having a wonderful train system. So I didn't even know you could do it all like this or that this existed. So this was great. I'm so glad I took a look at this. This really changed my mind about a few things. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this stuff. Trains in Europe, Switzerland, if you've experienced any of this, that'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.